What's up, basketball sickos? Deuce and Mo with some reaction after the Wolves sent the Lakers packing. It is all over. Minnesota wins the series in 5 games, beating the Lakers tonight in LA 103-96 in a very eventful and weird game, to say the least.
Why?
Let's just say Rudy Gobert, 27 and 24.
Yeah.
Minnesota could not hit threes to save their lives. They end up 7 of 47 from 3 and 0 for 11 from downtown. DiVincenzo goes 2 for 12 from downtown. They were 1 of 17 from 3 in the second half, yet they won this game. What stood out to you tonight?
I mean, so many different things to go over here, because I thought at times, I don't even know what quarter was, maybe the third quarter, where it just felt like the Wolves were getting everything easy. Passing the ball around, getting into the paint, just simplifying their offense, right? They couldn't make many threes. So then it was a pass here, pass to the high post, someone moving without the basketball, in the dunker spot, wherever. It just felt a little too easy.
Yeah, that was in the first half for sure. That second quarter specifically, I thought they were doing
Thank you for getting
a really
the
nice
right.
job. Like, Anthony Edwards was seeing the double team. They were hunting Luka a lot, and they were bringing a second person over to defend, to help on Ant, and he would just get off the ball. And it would either lead to an open three that was likely missed, or they moved it around and got something inside, or a second chance opportunity.
Well, and then before we get to the second chance opportunities, going off of the threes that you were even talking about, the threes that were generated in this offense were fantastic for the most part. I mean, I saw a few maybe that I was like, okay, late in the shot clock, you had to get this one off, or someone put you in a bad place. Like at times, Julius Randle would just do a few too many things, even though I can't wait to talk about his amazing offensive game. And then put someone else in a bad position to just like get a quick three off before the shot clock was winding down. But overall, the threes that were taken in this game by the Wolves were great. I mean, they had so many open looks. They just couldn't get them to go. I mean, you mentioned the two guys, Ant 0 for 11, and then Dante DiVincenzo 2 for 12. So many of those threes were made not just, quick into the offense. It was the team moving around the basketball and getting into the paint.
I didn't love a lot of them in the second half, especially how they started that third quarter. That kind of let the Lakers back in the game, because they had 3 consecutive threes where Randall took a tough one. You're going, what are you doing? Ant took 2 bad ones. And I liked the flow of it better in the first half. The start of the third quarter wasn't great. And I thought, especially after Luka goes down with the back thing, right? With like a minute to go in the second quarter, where he tweaks his back and he clearly did not look comfortable really the rest of this game. I wanted them to attack him more, and they finally started doing that late in the fourth quarter, especially with Julius Randle. But like, they let them off the hook, and that's where I thought Ant would too often in that second half was settling. It's like, dude, attack this man. This guy's got a bad back.
Okay, I understand that, but I completely understand that. And I felt like Ant even still was missing some bunnies, even when he was getting into the paint as well.
Sure.
I also feel like when you're someone who can shoot the shit out of the basketball and you're 0 for 11, you're still trying to find your rhythm too. And some of those looks that, yes, I'll give you that. There's maybe a couple there for Ant where it was a little bit of a force, trying to get things to go off, especially in the second half. But I also felt like at times when he was trying to get something to go, we've seen him make that shot
Absolutely.
before.
And you're right about him around the basket too, right? Because it wasn't just the 3-point shot. He ends up 5 of 19 in this game. He ends up with 15 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists. And he had some amazing takes to the basket at times, just could not convert. He just had an off game with the scoring, but he was still finding other ways. I thought his decision making, especially in that first half, was really good. The rebounding was good from him tonight. So he still had an impact on the game, especially with all the attention he draws.
Yeah, 11 rebounds for him, and I just thought the rebounding as a whole for the T-Wolves and the way that Rudy Gobert was getting those second chance opportunities. They had 18 offensive boards that led to 20 second chance points, but
that number should have been higher too.
Why?
They just missed so many threes. They missed so many good looks. Like the second chance points was only 20-10. It should have been a lot higher. I thought they left some off. They left some on the board.
But a lot of the second chance opportunity points that were coming up Rudy Gobert throwing it back down, getting the jam. I mean, he was doing so much better of a job. I forget if it was last game that we talked about it or the game before when we were like, why is he looking soft out there? Like even on some rebounds, just not really going for it. There was such a different type of fight and effort from him tonight. And I just thought the way that he was timing things out around the rim, throwing it back down, really gave him the game of a lifetime for him in the playoffs.
He was outstanding. 27 points, 24 rebounds. He had 9 offensive rebounds in this game. He also had 2 blocks, 12 of 15 shooting.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, he cleaned shit up for sure.
Yes.
But rebounding wise is exactly where you're looking at, right? Because he had a game where he had like 3 rebounds and 6 rebounds. And you're like, you have to do better,
you have
especially
to do more
against this Lakers team that, for most of the series was only playing Jackson Hayes a few minutes. Tonight, Jackson Hayes did not play in this game. Right, they decided to go with Dorian Finney-Smith, so they're just small. And I thought that's the one thing I love from Minnesota tonight is like take advantage of that, right? Like they're going to be playing some zone defense at times. You need to attack the paint. Now, don't pass up good looks from 3. They probably could have attacked the paint a little more because the Lakers just could not guard, and especially in a situation if you can't guard the perimeter, who's protecting the rim?
Yeah.
Well, they don't have anybody. They don't even play anybody. In fact, they dusted off Maxi Kleba tonight, who had been out with an injury since late January. It was his first game with the Lakers. He made his Lakers debut tonight. That was like the size they played. So the whole point is I thought they did a great job taking advantage of that. It's like, yeah, they're limited with their size, and Gobert's like, I'm going to go and get after it tonight. So yeah, it was a rebounding. It was a second chance opportunities, just taking what the defense gave them. But additionally, his defense was spectacular.
Oh, let's talk about his defense, because it doesn't matter now if it's around the rim and he's protecting the rim or if it's along the perimeter at times. It's not even like a lot of times this season, wow, Rudy Gobert can hold his own along the perimeter. No, he can actually defend and disrupt and backpedal and do things that you don't see someone at that size always doing. And I thought tonight, again, it was that like will, that want to just make sure that Luka wasn't going to have an easy look, to make sure that LeBron wasn't going to cross him over. Fantastic defense. Inside and out by Rudy Gobert.
It was awesome. And this was a night, too, where, again, Minnesota did face some adversity because Jaden McDaniels had one of his Jaden McDaniels games where he's just in foul trouble. And some of them were tough calls. He ends up fouling out this game. He just played 18 minutes. And so when it's halftime and Minnesota's up 10, when they're clinking threes left and right, Randall had 3 first half fouls, limited to just 10 minutes in that first half. And then McDaniels only played 6 minutes in the first half. I'm sitting there going, oh, well, if Minnesota just knocks down some shots, like they'll be all right. This game was closer than I thought it needed to be because Minnesota could not knock down shots tonight. But their effort, I thought, just in this series in general, their compete level, I thought Julius Randle was fantastic.
Locked in on the
That's what it is. Locked in.
Yep.
He's always going to give you a couple of plays that leave you scratching your head, but he also does some shit that blows your mind. Some of the shot making, some of his attacks, the off balance stuff where he was thriving.
Well, there's times on the offensive end with his attacks, it's really his strength. The way that he'll shoulder through someone. Now, there's times where he lowers the shoulder and you're like, what are you doing? That's the chaotic nature that you get with him. But I felt like tonight he was under control and he did a really good job of even trying to go through people with his strength, not with trying to draw a foul or be chaotic. And then other times, if he couldn't go through someone or if LeBron was right there, he would elect to do a turnaround jumper or just kind of fade away a little bit more, but under control, high arcing shot. There's so many times that he had those moments where I'm just like, holy shit, okay, it's a good shot, it's a good play. And you saw the Lakers defense not having an answer for it. And I mean, it's like you said, though, if this team was making their outside shots and Julius Randle was having a night like that and Gobert was rebounding the way that he was, it just
this
felt,
game's not close.
And it just felt like at times it shouldn't have been with that Lakers defense.
14.9% from 3 in this game. I mean, it's just not going to happen, right? Like you just don't expect it. And of course, they hit one of the biggest ones late. Michael Conley. Michael Conley.
Michael,
Like he's at
Conley.
Ohio State again. Michael Conley. Mike Conley with the big corner 3 late to seal it.
And what if I were to tell you as we came into this, like, hey, Naz Reid, not a great game. Hey,
Dude, he was rough.
0 for 11 from 3-point land. Hey, the team as a whole shot 15% from 3.
I would have said that
McDaniels fouls out.
Yeah, I would say the Lakers would have rolled.
Yeah.
And a huge credit to Minnesota and what they did defensively. I thought they just fly around.
Mm-hmm.
They play physical. I love the energy that DiVincenzo plays with. Of course, McDaniels is a really good defender when he's not in foul trouble. Ants even stepped up in that regard, in my opinion. Then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, we mentioned Gobert. But you know what? Julius Randle's been pretty good defensively too.
Yes.
Using his size and strength to his ability. This number blows my mind. This is the 3rd time in this series they held the Lakers under 100 points. In this series, the Lakers scored just 100.4 points per game in the 5 games.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I think the other thing is you look at where, this matchup with the seeding, and it's like, oh, the Lakers, they got to be the team that's favored. And they were getting a lot of hype down the stretch. And of course, they're going to get a lot of love because they got Luka and LeBron.
Yeah.
But I just felt like this series was just not going to go in their favor because of the size and the depth from Minnesota. And you saw that. This was the series. This is what it was. I mean, JJ Redick last game played his starters the entire second half.
Oh my God.
That wasn't because it was like, oh, my bad. I'm a first-year coach. I don't know what I'm doing.
Such weird
No,
questions.
It was, I don't trust what I have on my bench.
Uh-huh.
Like tonight he played Vanderbilt more. You're limited there, especially from an offensive standpoint. Defensively, he can guard. Gabe Vincent played 26. He only played Kleba 5 minutes. The rest of the bench, he doesn't trust at all. And so for the Lakers to not even have a true big out there.
Yeah.
You got Luka, who's like limping around after the back thing. LeBron was kind of gimpy after that collision with DiVincenzo. Like, I'm not surprised that this was the result. I think there are a lot of people that were trying to push this like Luka LeBron championship contender narrative when they're not there. And it's okay. Like, after they traded for Luka, we sat here and we're like stunned, like, oh my God, the post LeBron era, they've got their guy. But we were both saying, yeah, but look at they're not going to be that good.
Yeah.
Because of the size.
Right.
And look, here we go in a series where they have Randall and Reed and, Gobert. That's a lot of bigs to deal with. They couldn't handle that.
Yeah. They take on size. And I mean, on top of all that, it's like you said, we always mention it's a team sport. You gotta have a good team out there, especially in the postseason in the NBA. I mean, that's where you see teams thrive. And now they'll thrive in a shorter rotation, but even within that rotation, there's guys that these coaches can trust and go to and can flow, and it just makes sense and it works. And there's times where I get frustrated with coaches and I don't think they do a very good job with their rotations and not trusting guys. I just don't believe that there's enough to trust in this series with this matchup for JJ Redick and the Lakers. And that's why, they've got a lot of things that they're going to have to work on. But for the most part, when you have LeBron James and Luka Doncic on your team, you're going to be able to get this far and to do the things that you were still able to do even with the challenges that you faced.
They need to find a legit lob threat for Luka. And that's the other thing about making a trade midseason is, it's incomplete. You didn't go into the season going, we're going to get Luka and we're going to make sure to have these type of pieces that fit well with him. The next thing with Luka, and we say it, I think every year he's been eliminated for the playoffs for like the last 4 years. We talked about this.
What?
The guy's got to get in shape. He's got to get in shape. He's heavy. And he has to come in to camp at another level. And, I honestly thought after losing to the Celtics last year, that was going to be the case. Going through the pain of losing and getting so close and then not being able to win a title, the great ones have the ability to go look in the mirror and go, what do I have to do to get to that next level?
Sure.
And for him, he's great. And if he didn't do anything else right now, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And some of the shots he made tonight in the second half
Incredible.
with a messed up back. Yes, acknowledge it's great. But do you want to be the best guy in the league like he can be? Then he's got to get in better shape. That's all there is to it. Defensively, before the back injury, they were hunting him.
It's going to come down to conditioning to be able to be stronger because he has such great size, right? And he has such good feel for the game. And I think that feel would be enhanced tremendously on the defensive end if he was able to move laterally in different ways. And, you go around the NBA and it's a different day and age of so many guys are in such better shape than look back 20 years ago where guys could get away with having a little bit of a gut going around. And then you think about one of the best players in the game, Nikola Jokic, who doesn't look like the most in shape human in the world. But guess what? You never question his ability to last throughout the season, to carry the entire team, to play at the highest level, game after game after game. And Luka, it happens because you see his ups and downs, and he's still so young, and he has the ability to do it. He's just got to lock in.
That's what it is. His potential is limitless.
I saw I forget what interview he was doing. It was that comedian one, and they asked him if he was a bronzexual, and then they asked him how LeBron spends $1 million on his body. How much do you spend on yours? And he said $2 million. But and obviously he was joking. But the point of I'm not acting like he should be spending $2 million. But at the same time, maybe there are things that he will learn from someone like LeBron James playing so closely to him.
By the way, Luka did play 40 minutes in this one, 28 points for him. He also had 9 assists, 7 rebounds, 7 of 18 shooting, 2 of 8 from 3, 12 for 15 from the free throw line. LeBron finished with 22, 7, 6, 9 for 21, 1 of 5 from 3 for LeBron. And the other thing with LeBron is again, we don't how many more years is he going to keep going with this? He's got an option for next year that he could pick up with the Lakers, but the reality is this is winding down at some point, so you do have to appreciate these moments. LeBron had an injury late in the year, and I feel like it did limit him a little bit in this series. I don't think he did everything that we have seen from him in the past. And there's also just a point you're like, I mean, what are we we're gonna hate on this guy's 40 years old. What are we gonna say?
Battling through people. He's dunking the shit out of the basketball. He's going downhill. I feel like he's doing everything he can and still being such a big threat out there.
Yeah.
Such a big threat. You have to worry about him. But at the same time, you can only do so much with everything that you have. He's also in the past has made players, his teammates, so much better that you've seen that connection with someone like Austin Reeves throughout their time together, but you haven't really seen that same type of connection with some of the other guys that's to that level at least.
So the Lakers are done and they have some things to figure out. Minnesota advances. They will play the winner of Houston Golden State.
Holy shit.
That wasn't much of a game today. We'll talk about that in a second, but I can't wait to see what that looks like. I don't, we don't want the Warriors to advance, but if there was a Warriors-Wolves series, the storylines with Ant and Steph, you got the Gobert, Draymond dynamic, Jimmy facing his former team. Anthony Edwards saying in an interview recently, that's the team he wants to face in the playoffs.
Damn.
Look, this guy's got confidence. He goes, last year, I beat KD in the first round. This year, LeBron, Luka, see you later.
He's feeling good, as he should.
This Minnesota team has faced some ups and downs, especially, you make a trade right before camp, a trade of that magnitude, trading Cat for Randall. You're like, I don't know about this one. There were times it didn't look good, right? It seems like it's clicking at the right time. They played a lot better down the stretch. And the two guys that they got back in that trade, Randall's been really good, and DiVincenzo's impact. He's one of those guys you can't stare at the box score all the time with him. But when he is out there, you feel him. Notice his impact.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere on the floor. And I think that's mostly his impact is just the energy that he provides, and still being able to share the basketball while rebounding the basketball, while stealing the basketball. I mean, tonight wasn't his best shooting night. We already mentioned it. Only 2 threes, 2 for 12. But there was times this season we were looking at Mike Conley getting played off the floor, right? Especially just teams hunting him on the defensive end. We saw that a little bit in this series as well. Mike Conley, obviously, good game tonight, just with that big 3 at the end as well. He only finished with 8 points, but like he's a leader out there.
He's
he's
getting
a manager,
rebounds.
right?
Yep.
And so to be able to have those two play that type of game tonight, just like at that level, playing their role, doing what they need to do. It's another big reason why the Wolves are where they are.
So we mentioned next up, they play the winner of Houston Golden State. Houston stays alive, forcing a game 6.
Stays very much alive.
After destroying the Warriors. I mean, the final score actually doesn't tell the full story, obviously. The final score was 131-116. The Rockets win. Houston up by as many as 31 in this game. Steve Kerr waved the white flag halfway through the third quarter when the Rockets were up 29. He put Quentin Post, Kevin Knox, Moses Moody, Guy Santos, and Pat Spencer in the game. Were you surprised that he decided that stretch, 6 minutes, just after the 6-minute mark of the third quarter, go, you know what? We're done. We're going to save our guys. Curry only 23 minutes, Green 18, Jimmy Butler with 25 minutes.
A little. I think, you and I, while watching the game, we thought maybe that was a possibility. But I also was like, you got Steph. You never know when he gets things going. I mean, he kept just chucking up 3 after 3. Didn't seem like, he finished 3 of 9. It just didn't feel like the same type of rhythm that we've seen from him, even when he is missing. And then it felt like no one else was adding. So like for Steve Kerr to go in that direction, he was just looking for anything. And look, he got the boost or the energy that he wanted to see to make this game competitive.
I don't think anyone anticipated we'd be talking about a Rockets-Warriors playoff game where Kevin Knox with 14 off the bench, Moses Moody, the leading scorer, with 25 and 9.
Well,
from Houston's perspective, they came out of the gates. They were awesome in this one. I think, obviously, defensively, it was special. And we see this group's ability to turn it on. But Ahmed Thompson, this guy had 5 steals at the half. He ends up with 25 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and 5 steals. What jumps out to you when you see him?
I think his feel for the game. Like he's still so young and just obviously on the defensive end, I think he plays so tough. And I think sometimes it really pisses me off when he'll get a call that I understand throughout the season could sometimes be deemed a foul, but it's like, I want to reward this fantastic defender that puts it all out there, that is mostly doing every single thing right. He's not being chaotic and handsy. He's just being aggressive and physical. And so for him to have that type of defensive game, always we see that from him. But then on the offensive end, what we've seen from him lately, just being explosive, getting to the rim, finishing at the rim. Yeah, like he's being crafty.
Yep.
He's just getting better and better.
But just seeing him pick up Curry and just make his life challenging.
Totally.
I think he picked Curry 2 to 3 times in this game. It was really spectacular. And then Van Vliet's been on a tear. After having that monster game the other night where he hit 8 threes in that loss, he ends up with 26 points, 4 of 6 from downtown for Van Vliet. Şengün, a near triple-double. Dylan Brooks with 24. The stat, though, we spent a lot of time talking about.
Yeah.
The free throws. And we know Houston last in free throw percentage, but last game was a nightmare. They make their free throws. They win that game. In the first quarter, they go 13 for 13. And it just set the right tone. It was like, okay, they're locked in defensively. They're forcing, 5 turnovers in that first quarter, and they're getting to the line and making their free throws. They end up 32 of 38 from the line in this one.
It was impressive. That's you put so much work in on that end of the floor, especially when you're battling and you're getting those second chance opportunities. You know, they had 8 offensive boards, 14 second chance points, but you just always see so many Rockets jerseys in there. And even when they're in there, just in the paint because they're creating or they're being strong and going to the basket, they get to the free throw line and then they don't execute and then they don't finish off all the work that they had put in. So tonight, to put in that work obviously helped lead to not only this win, but I felt like that good energy in the beginning of the game, like set the tone for the rest of the game. Like, we're going to make these fucking 3 free throws. Sorry.
Look at you getting fired up. Okay, you may relax. Yeah. It definitely got too close. Yeah. And I think that's probably a frustrating element. I mean, you know, if you're Udoka, you're like, I do not want to put my starters back in the game. And they had to put their starters back in the game. And it was like, God, could we see a miracle here? Is Curry going to have to come back in this game? And who knows what it looks like. They end up, you know, closing the door on it. But yeah, I don't know. This series, they were making a point on TV, and it is an interesting one where like Kerr is concerned about the minutes for Butler, Green, and Steph. And so when you're up in a series, you're up 3-1 going into tonight, now 3-2 after tonight, you go, am I really going to go balls to the wall on this? We're down 29-30. Let's just save it. We'll go back home and close it out. Is that a dangerous thought at all? Or do you see the thinking, the rationale?
I think it's super dangerous and you should be trying at all times. But I also go, they've experienced this shit before. Steve Kerr, Steph Curry,
yeah,
Draymond
I know,
Green.
But again, yes, you
different
say that.
Age, different year.
It's age. Jimmy, you know, he's still not 100%. Steph, he's grabbing that thumb a lot more. It's getting hit a lot.
I'm just saying I have an understanding for it. It's not what I would do.
Yeah.
But I'm also not an NBA champion.
I imagine they'll go back home and close things out. But I like the fight from Houston tonight. I thought Houston come out and they punched. And they punched.
Totally.
And when this Warriors team, especially when they see a couple of threes go in, like they can get a confidence about them and then they start feeling really good. And it can shake the other team. I felt like even tonight when Steph hit a couple of threes, the Rockets did not relent. They kept coming, and that force was everything. And
giving a little love, too, to Jalen Green, who had more of a bounce-back game. I know he only finished with 11 points in his 28 minutes, but I thought he set the tone early, too, just being aggressive on the offensive end, having more of an effort on the defensive end. And we keep talking about the defense that was played on the Warriors because it didn't feel like they were trying to be more physical and be up in their jerseys and piss them off. They were just playing the right way, from the on-ball pressure to playing the passing lanes to rotating over, protecting the rim. It all felt like it was there.
Going to be interesting to see what that looks like. Also, we'll have some breakdowns following the Knicks-Pistons game too. Ooh. Can't wait for that. Let us know how you're feeling about Minnesota's victory, advancing after beating the Lakers. What do you think the Lakers should do? And you can sprinkle in some thoughts about the Rockets Warriors. Hit the comments below. Also hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.